Welcome to Alley 55 Customs. Today we're working on a 2001 Ford F-250 extended cab. What the customer is having an issue with is the rear door on the driver's side is not opening up, and I'll show you what's going on. So when you grab a hold of the door handle and you pull on it, it will not open. It does not release. The top actually is locked in, but if you notice the bottom is unlocked, so it is moving, and the top is completely, it's locked in place. So I assume that the cable inside is probably broken. So I am going to show you how to fix this. Okay, now once you have removed the two screws, the Phillips head screws up here and down here, these two screws, you just want to take and swing this out of the way so you can get easy access. And what you're going to do is put your hand behind where the weather stripping was. You're just going to pull out, kind of pull gently, and then kind of wiggle it. It pops right out. There you go. And this side here. And there you go. That's how easy it is to pull that out. Okay, so now the next thing you want to do is, there's two screws right here. There's one here and there's one here. Not sure if there's push pins that go into these, but they're missing, so I can't tell you if they're screws or push pins. But anyways, all I'm seeing right now is this bolt and this bolt, but there's one missing right here. It looks like there might have been a bolt through it, but it could also be a push pin. Same on this side over here. But go ahead and remove these other two screws. All right, so now after we remove these two screws here, what we're going to do is we're going to remove this lower door panel itself. This whole thing is plastic. It's going to lift straight up. Do not pry out with it. If you pry out with it, you will break the there's plastic tabs on the back. I'll show you that in just a second. So what you want to do is lift straight up on this, and it should be relatively easy. So you should be able to grab it, and there you go, and it just pops right out. Now on the back side, if you flip it around here, on the back side, so you got these tabs that sit here like that, and they're plastic, and if you pry on them, they will break. There's one up top here, one off in the corner, down here, and then they fit down into, there's, a couple holes, slots right there, one across the bottom there, another one there, there's one here, and one right over here, one dead center too. And what you're going to do now that that's off, you want to take the insulation off of here. It's pretty much, it should be stuck on here. This one's just kind of falling off. But what you want to do is, with it stuck in place, you'll probably have to peel it off. But you want to expose, this is your whole door lock assembly. And you'll have, like down here in the base, it's kind of hard to see, but there's a cable right here, this one, that runs down. And this one hooks to the bottom door locking mechanism. And then there's one that's kind of hard to see up in there, but it's back behind here. Let's see if I can get up in there. There's one way up in here, this one right here, and that one runs up to the top, and that controls that door lock mechanism also. So let me get right back to you. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to get this door open. So here, this is to your bottom door latch. This is your bottom cable that runs down to your door latch. This one's opening correctly, so it has to be your top one. And so if you run your finger up in here, you can see the cable moving. This one's going to go to your upper door latch. So the best way that I found to actually open this door is to grab a hold of this cable and pull some tension on it. Okay, pull some tension, and then what you're going to do is you're going to grab a hold of the inside door handle right there, and you just pull back on it, and there you go. Now it's open. Okay, after I started looking at the cable, on the back side of the cable, there's a plastic piece that locks into the back side of the the door latch itself, and it is completely broken, and so it's just sitting there idle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to replace that cable. Now, first thing that I would do is I would go up here and I would take off this door latch, and these are T27s, so there's 3 of them. And so what you're gonna have to do is pull the 3 out, and then pull this whole door latch out, because the cable is attached to the back of this. And so then you can disconnect that cable. Now here's a problem I see here is my hand will not fit back here. It's too big. And so if you look, these are pop riveted, and you either have to drill out these pop rivets and then go ahead and replace the pop rivets once you pull this unit out and fix the problem, or you can try to go through the radio speaker, and that's what I'm going to do. And these are 5.5 millimeter socket is what you're going to have to use to take off those bolts. So let me go ahead and take that out. Okay, now that I've removed all 4 of the bolts holding the speaker on, what I'm going to do is just take it off the side. These are magnetic on the back, so you can just kind of stick it off the side and just hook it on the door and just let it sit there. And it gives you a ton of room now where you can put your hand up in there and actually access that cable. And what you're going to be dealing with, it's one of these clips on the back side, and they're really easy to use. It's just you use a small screwdriver behind it. It's actually this one right here. And what you do is you take it and you pry on the back side, and it just pops straight down. And see how this one here is holding the cable up, and it locks in. That's exactly what it's going to be on the back side. So you just need to pry from the front, and it pops outward, and then the whole cable is going to pull out. That's what's going to happen. So let me get that off, and I will show you the cable. Okay, now that everything is loose, you got the bottom cable taken off, and then up here on the very top you got all 3 of the Torx head. Let's go ahead and remove this. Let's pull it straight out. Okay, now that we got the cable out, let me show you what actually was damaged on this. If you look here, this whole piece right there, it's broken. And it's just a plastic piece. It goes bad over the years. And then if you follow the cable down on this side here, this also is broken. So this piece here should be connected here. Here's the new one. And so there you go. So that's pretty much what it should be looking like right there. And then on this end here is that right there. So, you know, that's that. The new one ran me, you know, and honestly, you can go to Ford and get this, but you can also buy it on eBay, about 25, 30 bucks. It saves quite a bit of money if you do it this way. And this works just as well. There's a lot of parts. I'm a firm believer in doing OEM from the factory, original equipment. But for this, not a huge deal. I've replaced quite a few cables in the doors over the years, and aftermarket works just fine. So I'm going to go ahead and start to install this. Okay, so when you're feeding the cable down in, you want to follow this ridge right here, straight down, and then you can grab it and then hook it into its keeper on this side over here. So what you want to do is just take this and feed it straight down like so. There you go. It's hard to do with one hand. There we go. And okay. And there you go. So now let's go ahead and connect the T27 Torx bolts, and then I'll get right back to you. Okay, now that you have the your bolts started, don't tighten them all the way down. I don't know, that's just me. Once you tighten them down, then things are set in place, and it's easier to hook everything up when you have a little bit of extra wiggle room. So leave these alone, just start them, and then go on down here. And then what we're gonna do is we're feeding the cable over into this bracket. It's this one right here, but this is what the bracket looks like, and it's on the back side. It's just this one right here. But anyways, what you're doing is, if you can see that, let's see if I can get closer here. The screw, it looks like a screw right there. Put it about midpoint, you know, about halfway. And let me show you on the old one. So there's the old one. And if you see where it's nice and clean right there, looks new. That's where the bracket sat. And that's about where you want to put the new one, about the same spot. And then you're just going to take it and latch it down. Okay, now once you have it latched down, you know, and locked in place, then you want to put the base of the cable into that slot that I told you about, and it is right here on the very top. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna take it and you're gonna push it in, and you're gonna hear it click, and then it's seated, it's locked in, and it's not gonna move on you. Let me show you on the other. So it is this right here. So where this piece is broken, you're just going to take and notch it right in this little section right here. And that's the final product. That's what it's going to look like right there. It's going to be locked in place. You'll have this locked in. Now, before you go any further, what you do want to do is you want to check to make sure that your door locking mechanism is working. So we're going to go ahead and cinch up the top bolts first and get those seated, and then we'll go ahead and see if the door actually works. So we'll go ahead and now tighten these up, and then see if the door opens. Okay, now that you have the 3 bolts tightened down, we want to shut the door and make sure that the door is working properly, that it locks, it latches, and then reopens again. One of the worst feelings is to put everything all back together, shut the door, and then it doesn't latch. Then you got to tear everything right back down again. And so check your work before you put it back together. So let's check it out. There we go. Yeah, it's working. Now let's see if it unlocks. Yep, there you go. So that is fixed. So now let's start putting this all back together. All right, you want to push back your insulation and just, you know, push it back on there. It should stick again. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to take and put your speaker right back in. There we go. And then we're going to put in the 4 bolts and then tighten those down, and then we'll move to the next step. All right, now that you installed your speaker, tighten everything down, we're going to put in your bottom half of the door panel. So again, you just have to, you know, line up your tabs to these holes here. Go ahead and pop them in. There you go. And that's how easy it is. Just pop it right in. So now what you're going to do is you're going to take and you know, reinstall the 2 screws back in there and go ahead and cinch those down. All right, now that these 2 screws are put back in place, your door panel's on. The other thing you want to check too before you get too far into it is make sure that it is seated all the way down and around. You don't want any gaps or anything, you know, along the bottom here. So you want to run around. Now on this side here, you are going to have a gap. You're going to have a gap right here because the weather stripping has to pop into the position. All right, so the next step is we're going to put in the top part of the door panel. You're going to need to have 2 hands to do it, so I'm going to have to put this camera down. But again, you're going to take and just pop them back into place. You know, they just push right back in. That's an alignment tab right there sticking out, and then you just lock it in using these tabs on your door. Like there's one right there. Come across, here's another one here, you know, there's one. So I'll put this in really quick and then I'll be right back. All right, so we just installed that. Again, follow this ridge right along, make sure that everything is seated down here. You know, on the inside, it's going to be pretty close to the window, but you're still going to have a gap. That's how it always is. Next thing to do is make sure that everything is just, you know, kind of push on it and make sure everything is locked in, and you're good to go there. So then I'm going to install the actual window, the side window. So go ahead and reinstall the 2 screws that go into here, and you're almost done. Okay, now that you've installed the 2 screws, you know, go ahead and check to make sure that this is the side window's popping out, everything's working correctly. And then what you want to do is the last part is to install your weather stripping. A lot of times the weather stripping is made to, you know, seal down and not come up. You know, it's like you just push it on and then it will stay. But over the years, with the door closing and opening, it has a tendency to just pop off and then it stays loose. So what you'll need to do is just go down to your local auto parts store and pick up a 3M weather strip adhesive, and you know, you can put a little dab right up inside the channel and then take it and put it in. If you put too much, you know, it goops out and stuff, so you don't need a whole lot in there. And then just go ahead and put it in and just let that cure. But other than that, you're done, you're completed. Let's double check this door. Okay, everything latched, bottom's latched, you know, pull on the door, doesn't move, good fit, and make sure it opens. And there you go. If you like this video, please hit the thumbs up, like button, and subscribe, because we have a ton of videos coming up. And if you have a comment or if you want to see a video done, please let me know. I'll try to accommodate you. But anyways, have a good day. Thank you.